You're listening to Daventry Radio, connecting your community.
I interviewed Jackie Walsh, a local author who writes supernatural thrillers. You have recently published your fourth book, which is called Them.
Mm-hmm.
But before we talk about that, let's talk about your career as a writer. What made you get into writing?
Well, I've always liked this kind of thing, and mainly it was my brother's thought of this. I used to write a lot of stories, and he said to me, "Why don't you write them into a book?" And I said to him, "No." Of course, I forgot about it, and then as life went on, kids, etc. And recently, about 2011, about then, I thought, well, I'll give it a go, try it. And of course I did, with Revenge, and ever since then I've been doing the same.
Tell me about your writing process. How do you go from a germ of an idea and then progress from that point onwards until you get your book published?
Mainly it's just if things come to mind, or I see something on telly, like, I don't know, if you see a forest, I might think of something to do with the forest, and I'll jot it down on a bit of paper. As I said, I do that sometimes, and I can't even remember where I put the paper, but still. Or things that go on during the day, or anything you hear or people say, just jot it down on paper, and at the end I'll have a look at it and see what I can come up with, and just carry on from there.
Do you always carry a little notepad with you all the time?
I've always got a notepad with me.
Now, looking over your book titles, just the titles alone are enough to send a shiver down the spine. There's Revenge, With Evil Intent, The Silent Scream, and now the ominously titled Them. You obviously specialise in the genre of horror. Why horror?
Well, it's not horror, it's more paranormal than horror. Okay, it's kind of hard to go with it. To be honest, I don't like horror. I'm all right writing it, because I know it's not real. But I'm not that keen on horror, really. But as I said, I like putting it in stories.
Have you ever wanted to write a light-hearted romantic comedy?
No, I couldn't do anything like that at all.
What do you think is you've tapped into it a little bit with yourself, but what do you think is the psychology behind people's interest in ghost stories, anything of the paranormal?
I think it's several. There's some people who like to know about ghosts and find relatives or people that have passed on. But there's other people that just like the feeling of being frightened, being in a horror film, because they know that they can feel what they want, but when they get out and it's over, they're back to normal. I think it's just the feeling of the horror and everything inside them that's building up while they're watching it, really, that people like.
Sort of adrenaline rush.
Adrenaline, that's the word, yeah.
Are any of your novels partly based on anything that you have actually experienced, or are they purely from your imagination?
The story-wise, imagination, but I have experienced some ghosts, but they've been quite friendly, thank goodness.
Well, would you like to go into a bit more detail about these ghosts?
There's one not far from here, actually. In the town itself, people knew it as a golden padlock. It's a dentist now. I used to work in there. And right upstairs was a staff room. Now out the staff room is some very old steps, wooden steps that go down, and they were what we call the storerooms out the back. Anyway, whenever I went in there, I always felt that there was somebody or something in there. Anyway, one evening, time to go, got my coat, everything ready, light goes off. Of course, I'm moaning at my friends to put it back on again. Light goes on, thank you very much. Of course, anyway, gets ready, starts to go down the stairs, and there's this gentleman standing there. He's about 60-odd tall, nice suit, pinstripe suit with his pocket watch. Turns around at me, smiles, and walks down the stairs. Of course, I stand there thinking, oh, heck. I look down the stairs, he's gone.
Oh, okay. Tell me about your latest novel.
Them?
Yeah.
What, you mean about it?
Yeah, what's the story?
Roughly, it's about two girls that are going for the weekend with their parents, and they get stuck in an accident, and they try to find help. They go to this place, find help, but it was one place they shouldn't be let in because they'll never get out again. And they try all the ways to get out, and there's them inside the place. If I tell you any more, it would be...
You'll spoil it. Okay.
Yes, I would. Let's put it this way, they'd sort of end one nightmare to go into another.
I asked Jackie to read a passage from her latest book.
The atmosphere in the room was now beginning to feel very uneasy. It felt as though there was something in the room that was starting to engulf them and get near as they slowly made their way towards the door. Eve began to tiptoe to the door. Sally slowly walked behind her, but with a feeling that she was being followed. A floorboard creaked. Eve stopped, then tried to ease her foot off without it creaking again, and continued to walk towards the door. Sally kept looking round, hoping not to see anything. She gently whispered in Eve's ear to hurry, as she could feel something behind her. They reached the door. Just as Eve's hand was slowly moving towards the handle, Sally grabbed it and pulled it back. Eve knocked her hand out of the way and continued to reach for it slowly. And just before she touched it, Eve turned to Sally and told her that when she opens the door, they will just have to go as fast as they can.
If that has whetted your appetite for more, you can purchase them and other books from Jackie Walsh on the Amazon bookstore.